And, the second I leave that ramp, riding these bikes, as we all know as cyclists, the second you go in the air and there's a side wind, it's like riding a kite.
Yeah.
It is going to push you and it is going to be bad. So
Definitely hit the red button.
All right, we're starting. All right, we got a crew to here today. I can't even bring the stands in because of how many people are here. So this is a pretty cool environment. We got Kody here, who's going for the world record on a mountain bike. Mm-hmm. So Kody, if you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll go around the room and have the crew introduce themselves.
yeah, that sounds great. So yeah, my name's Cody Clark. I'm a 29-year-old action sports athlete out of Washington State. It's about 2,000 miles away from here, so that's pretty cool. But we're in Arkansas here in Bentonville, doing the Guinness World Record for the longest ramp to dirt bicycle jump, and the record right now is 116 feet, and we're looking to go past that.
Okay, so we'll start to my left. If you want to hand him the mic, and what's your name and what's your involvement here?
My name is Christian DePietri Antonio. I do all the filming for the project. My job is to basically just put all of the content together, make a super rad edit. We're actually going to make some kind of a documentary with all the footage from the last few days. We've been collecting B-roll for the last week or so throughout dropping off all the dirt, testing out the site and stuff like that. So that's what I'm here to do, is just put it all together and make it look good. And Cody's job is to send it and get it done safely.
So do you have a background in like editing, or is this kind of like your biggest project to date?
Yeah, so I'd definitely say it's my biggest project. I mean, I do film for the Arkansas Enduro and Southern Enduro Tour series, the local mountain bike series around here. I'm sure everybody's familiar with it, of course. So I do the recap videos for those, and I'm always filmed stuff, growing up, riding bikes and stuff over the years, just pull out the camera. But over the last few years, I've been really, getting more involved with slinging the camera around and kind of trying to capture all the radness around here, whether that's photos or videos or drones and stuff like that. So.
All right, and next.
All right, my name is Ted Huey. I'm a local here near Bentonville, and I'm going to be Cody's kind of production manager, though the role isn't really clearly defined. Basically, I'm going to be around the ramp and the landing whenever Cody's doing the jump, making sure the windage is okay. If the ramp needs to be scooted back or forth, I'll be in charge of getting that moved and getting all the new distance measurements recalibrated for whatever speed he's going to be going at. And what else am I doing, Cody? Just pretty much anything Cody needs me to do ramp moving wise, I'll be taking charge of.
So what is your background to have that position?
I've been riding BMX bikes for 20 years now, and I grew up in an indoor skate park in Little Rock, Arkansas, building ramps. So I've been building ramps since I was 15, and I've got a pretty solid understanding of all the physics that are going on into this thing. And Cody has understood that, so that's why he's trusting me with that role.
Okay. Next. Pit Viper ambassador.
Yeah. So I'm Cody Wolenex, 31, from Bentonville, Arkansas, and I am Cody's the tech director. Is my title. It's kind of similar to what Ted's doing. I'm checking the ramps, going to make sure everything's going to be okay. Just watching things, make sure nothing goes south.
Okay. Cool. And then, last but not least, another Pit Viper ambassador.
My name is Geary. I'm from Fayetteville, Arkansas. I'm 25 years old. I'm Cody's sort of head of safety, and also I'm his head tugger, if you will. I'm pulling him into it with the dirt bike. So just kind of me and him are going to be mic'd up, communicating with each other the whole time.
Okay. One thing I meant to say when Ted was on, Ted, are you required to wear white pants?
The only reason I'm wearing the white pants right now is because I was testing the jumps for Bentonville Bike Fest.
Yeah.
And I found out that the gap was a little bit too big on the first one, and I just happened to have these in my truck because I don't clean my truck ever. So I just didn't want to wear super ratted up, dirty jeans for this.
No, I like them. I was just curious if that's part of his, your outfit all the time.
I do wear them pretty regularly. But they're getting kind of dirty from me bleeding on them and stuff, so so hopefully I can get those out. If not, I'll just turn into some super short jorts.
Okay, cool. Well, all right. So, athlete Cody, I'll just go by that since there's two Codys, and then we'll just call you Tech Cody if we go that way. Does that work?
I mean, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, this is kind of like 2 years in the making. We'll get into all that, but you have a background moto, ATVs, mountain bikes. So a little bit about you. You're from the Pacific Northwest.
I am. Yeah.
And then I guess if you want to kind of start there a little bit, and then I'll kind of just maybe go off on a tangent on that.
Yeah, so like I said a second ago, I'm 29 years old. I've been racing, even just last night we were racing motocross. But I've been racing motocross since I was like 4. Traveled all over the country for that. Ended up going into homeschooling around like 14, just because we were gone so much. The school system said, hey, you're either going to fail because you're just not smart, or you can miss one more day of school and we're going to fail you anyway. So went homeschool then, and we were gone like 9 months out of the year racing full time. Then I did Supercross, outdoor motocross from 2010 to 2012. Lived in California, did that whole thing, and about 2013, I said, I'm at a point where I either can't afford to get any more stuff on the bike, or I'm going to kill myself going a second faster. And moved home, started mountain biking in 2013. Started racing that. Alongside going pro in that, I also started a professional mountain bike race team that went factory specialized, or so the best way to put it, factory specialized in 2017, I believe it was, which that was all at racing. That did really cool. It kind of exploded all over the world. We had riders in Japan, Australia, Austria, Germany. Wow. It was really cool. So, and then COVID hit, and I was like, I don't have anything to do. I kind of got sponsors and the race team to kind of keep promoting, and I was watching TV one day. I was like, it'd be cool. Let's try and go for a Guinness World Record. And 2 years later, amongst COVID, also started racing quads just sheerly out of boredom, and all my motocross friends were giving me way too much crap.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For like, oh wow, you're sitting on a quad in the pits. I was like, I'll try and race it, and ended up like winning that whole season just purely as a joke, and now I have 2 of them in my garage. So, no, I try and make fun of everything. And if whatever route that takes me, whether it's a Guinness World Record or ATV racing or whatever, I'll at least try it. And so far, it's been super fun. So, 2 years later, after talking about doing a Guinness jump, here we are. I think we're on site tomorrow, as far as getting the ramp ready and the landing ready. And Tuesday, we put tires in the dirt with the dirt bike and testing it on that. And by Wednesday, we should be on the mountain bike and hopefully have it done by Friday if the weather cooperates. So.
Okay. So a little side thing you were telling me, I was asking you yesterday about Washougal because you're up there, and I was like, hey, is that a bucket list? And you're like, yeah, make it a bucket list. Mm-hmm. Then you were telling me about the Hill brothers are pretty famous in the area, along with the Villapoto brothers.
Yeah.
But go into that, if you don't mind telling that story about the fireworks and the propane again.
Yeah. So it's like 4th of July, whatever year it was. Washougal usually does a race on the 4th of July that weekend, or whatever it is, and I think it was like Friday night, Saturday was a practice race on Sunday, whatever the exact layout was, but it ended up raining out. So the only people that stayed were Josh, Justin, and myself, and we were all parked around this little fire pit. And Justin and I are a little closer in age, Josh a little bit older than me, and Justin and I are out there blowing up firecrackers, bottle rockets, mortars, and whatnot, and we're just shooting them straight out of the cannon, straight up in the air. Josh pokes his head out of the trailer. He's like, what'd be cool is if you guys threw those mortars straight in the fire. And we're like, oh, all right. So, we're just hucking them and running. And again, this is right around their trailer. This is literally a fire pit within 20 feet of their RV and trailer, and 20 feet of our RV and trailer. And we're just throwing them in the fire, not thinking about it. And yeah, one of them shot out of the fire and blew up directly underneath our propane tank in the RV. My mom was sleeping inside of it. We scrapped that idea pretty quick, and as soon as that blew up, you could hear Josh laughing in the trailer because he's older. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. You almost blew up your RV, whatever, dumb kids." That was. I got a lot of fun, really unique. Like Josh's mom stepped on my ankle one time playing laser tag and put me out of riding for 2 weeks because it was just swollen, and she just came around the corner and just straight rolled it. That was pretty unfortunate.
Yeah. We were also talking about how I was like, what's so great about Washougal and the shadows and stuff like that? And you're like, yeah, it's crazy. It's literally like turn the lights off and then it comes right back on.
It'd be like if you were in this room right here and, maybe a little bit darker or, whatever, and you were to roll down all the blinds and shut the lights off for a split second. And about the time your eyes adapt to it, you turn on all the lights again and open the windows. And then, it is literally when you're coming off the Buddha jump into the forest, it is like you are looking into a room with the lights off. And you have to go fifth wide through the braking bumps and pray that it hasn't changed. Or, some of those jumps are pretty blind in the singles in there. You got to pray that there's not a rider down or, whatever. They have a person in the forest with the yellow flag, but you never see them. So, no, Washougal's definitely cool. I've done a lot of racing there over the years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, this is 2 years in the making. And why'd you pick Bentonville to be the location of that? You could pick anywhere, right? I guess just because it's self-proclaimed mountain bike capital.
Honestly, I tried to do it up home. For the first year, it was like, hey, if there's not if there's a nail sticking out of the ramp, we'll just try and avoid the nail type deal. And it was not gonna be done right. And I had been trying to get a buzz around it up there, and Michael Lasalata called me up, and he's like, hey, we're about 2 months out from this is last year, we're about 2 months out from this new Bike Fest thing. If you want to try coming out to Arkansas and promoting it in front of all the companies that are out here in a community that's excited about cycling, right? And I was like, just sure. I've never heard of the place, never put tires in Arkansas. I'll go out to this flat state and bring my downhill bike and see what I can do. And a year later, here we are. Michael and Hellion and really all of the guys in this room, came around me and A, made me feel like I'm at home, but B, each one of them is, really done above and beyond just to make this coming week happen. And that, like I said, that's all 5 of the guys in here and Michael, who's up in Washington right now. So, yeah.
Whoa.
Jeez.
So when what was like some of the first things you had to get started to even make this possible?
Man, well, okay, so trying to go back to my memory here. Like I said, this whole thing started sheerly out of boredom, and a confidence after doing research and kind of knowing what the gap was, boredom and confidence, and then it was, all right, let's do some research. Let's exactly see what the record is. And then it was, okay, well, we got to get Guinness involved. I've never done anything like this before. So it was literally like, let's go to contact us on the Guinness World Record website and see what comes from that. And after a price tag later and a long 7-month wait, they finally got all the credentials they need to safely say, okay, this guy's qualified to do this. And that took 7 months.
Just to say you're qualified?
Just to say I'm qualified.
So I guess most of us think hey, I want to go out and break a record. It's not so simple.
No, and there are, and I'll admit it, there are YouTube videos of people breaking the record that is set right now. But what I wanted to do, just like as everyone in here has been a kid at one point, and we've all opened up that book and been like, wow, that's a guy that swallowed a sword that was on fire or something, and I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. And if I'm going to bother wasting the time and the money and the effort into doing something that is this scale, I'm going to at least get a piece of paper on my wall saying it was right, So, it was 7 months for Guinness, and then really between that 7-month mark and now, we're still getting funds for that bill right now.
Dang.
We went out to the motocross track last night and got 2 sponsors out of it just to kick it into this bill. So technically it's still not even done yet,
So so you picked Bentonville. Did you have a location yet, or just all right, I'll go to Arkansas, or someone help you pick the location?
I had a location at Riverdale Raceways,
okay.
which we got the okay to do there from the owner of private property, and he had plenty of dirt there, but it wouldn't have been right, like Cody's sitting to my right here. You not only do you want to, he does stunt shows for BMX. And, it's cool to go do shows and whatnot, but it's even cooler to go do shows in an area where the area is excited about it.
Yeah.
Right? And that goes the same for all these guys in here that ride BMX. It's cool to go places, but it's cooler to go places that really want it. you know, or you've got, you know, a community that's like, oh man, you know, the BMX shows in town, hell yeah, we're going, you know. But no, the reason why we chose Bentonville was just for that. I'm up north, you know, not only am I an athlete, but I'm really in tune with the marketing behind it. And I was like, well, you know, I'm not necessarily looking for a paycheck. What I want is to get done with this and already be 10 steps ahead in the marketing department, you know. So what better place in the country right now to be a cyclist and be in tune with marketing than Bentonville, Arkansas? So now you've got a person that's in Arkansas wanting to do a Guinness World Record. That's a one of one thing, and the marketing behind it, it's like fishing with dynamite. You know, everybody wants involved with it for all the right reasons, because I'm doing this all for the right reasons. So it's pretty cool.
That's cool. So when did these guys, how'd they come on board? Anybody want to, if you want to lead into them?
Yeah, I mean, so I need to say, like, officially too, like, I became really close with all of these guys, especially in the last couple weeks I've been here, but I've met all of them last year when I was here.
Yeah.
And every single person that is sitting in this room right now, this is it. As far as making this jump happen safely for me, you're looking at all of the people that are going to be on site that day to help me get to that goal.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be able to do it without, like, even just one. If one of them backed out, it'd be like, oh shit, what the hell am I going to do now?
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't trust anybody else in these spots. But yeah, I met them all last year. Christian, Ted, Cody, Britton, all of them were met last year, and that was through Michael. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. When you were getting the bike, when you were going through and like picking a bike and getting it where you wanted, did you know anything about like what you were telling me yesterday, adding extra welds or adding bigger spokes? How did that all, like, the design of that come about?
So, I mean, coming from a downhill racing background, it was just being smart. Like, I'm a bigger guy, especially trying to go up against horse jockeys on mountain bikes. Like, I can't compete with a 120-pound kid on the same bike. So, when this came into play, I was, like I said, I was already riding with Specialized, and when I kind of approached them with the idea, they were kind of like, we... they didn't really want any part of it, and I was like, all right, well, you know, yeah, because they haven't built bikes to do this. There's already a record set, and it was set in such a unique way compared to this. So when we kind of approached them with the idea to do this at this type of venue and this style of how we're going to do it, everyone kind of took a deep breath in, and that'll go away once we're done landing it. So it's got some extra welds on the internals of the frame. It's also got the factory welds on the outside of the frame, like you can see. It's got custom internals in the fork and the shock, and that is all just to put the pressure back through the bike, opposed to like a Fox 40 or something, or a typical mountain bike where the suspension's going up, you get all the pressure in the headset, all the pressure from the back shock goes into the crank. I mean, we've literally thought this bike through and through so that when it lands, it'll spread out. I mean, it's even got the rev grips on it so that it's just taking that much less impact into the body so that the bike can kind of push through the landing and not hit and then continue forward.
Yeah, for those who are listening, the bike is in the room with us, so we're kind of looking at it and going through it. With the I9 spokes, does I9 already sell those, or are those like something special for your bike?
Oh yeah, no, you can buy this bike as it sits. You can buy every piece on it. I mean, you won't get the extra welds on the inside, and you won't get the one-off special stuff in the fork. But that doesn't mean you can't go out and buy the frame. It doesn't mean you can't go out and buy the fork. Every other part that's on the bike, you can literally buy as is. Those are the only two pieces on this whole bike right here that are any sort of aftermarket.
Okay.
And that's everything from the grips to the tires and the wheels, everything.
Yeah, would you say, you told me yesterday it weighs like 49 pounds?
Yeah, it's like right about 49 pounds.
What's your plan with it afterwards? Frame it?
I don't know. Honestly, like, I've been super realistic about this whole project, and I'm more just focused on getting it done, and what happens after that is what happens. I'd probably end up kind of rebuilding the suspension and using it as like a Whistler beater.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, we'll kind of wait and see. It'll go somewhere. It'll be used for something, you know, or it'll be used in my living room for collecting dust. You know, we'll find out.
So I got to give a shout out, Jeremy Rose, the owner of the bike, and for letting us. We didn't really tell him we're using this room, but Thank you, Jeremy. But he wouldn't mind. He would appreciate this, and you're staying here, and
Yeah.
I'm actually staying here in the back in the van. So, shout out to Jeremy and Tiffany for such a sweet place. So check out the Bike Inn when you're in Bentonville. So all right, so back to, and you could probably fill in on this. When you're towing them in, what's the length? Are you using like one that you would use pulling a ski on the water, or how did you guys justify that at all?
So we actually went to the marine boat store and picked up just like wakeboarding rope. We shortened it to 17 and a half feet. He kind of chose that, and we tested
Bring
it
that
out.
mic a little closer, too.
Oh, sorry. We
That's all right.
we tested it out with my Toyota Tacoma, actually, out here in the back roads a little bit. Closed course, of course, but yeah. It worked pretty well. He was actually just like, we got up to like 35, what we think we're gonna need to hit the ramp at, and Cody said it's looking all good, so we pushed up to 52. It felt felt really good.
Why? So two things. Why did you guys shorten it? And second, are you just hand holding that thing?
So we shortened it just to kind of not quite have something so long bouncing behind the dirt bike. Just hate for something to get caught in the wheel or something,
Yeah.
or if he tossed it too far and it slacked and got caught in that rear wheel of that dirt bike, I wouldn't want to get thrown over the bars. Or even even on the truck, he was testing out throwing it, and he figured out as soon as he throws it, it puts itself right back in front of his wheel. So I'm gonna have to, like, whenever he throws it and says he throws it, I'm gonna have to pull off at the same time so it doesn't get caught in his wheel and hurt him. So
Yeah. Could you, just speaking from the outside, not even watching, can you like add weight so when he chucks it, it's like it throws it farther?
Didn't even think about it.
we really didn't think about it.
It's a good
we
idea.
figured out that the concrete kind of scuffed up the rope, so that we're gonna wrap that with some tape.
Sounds so much more ghetto than it is.
Yeah. Now I'm feeling like it's gonna be like like the rope's gonna be like there's gonna be like a fine line holding you. And
It is already fraying from the concrete. But
Might have to go pick up an extra one just
yeah,
in case.
that's not a bad idea. We should probably do that.
It was only $30.
You're trusting these guys.
Yeah, no, I really am, and it's hard, man. I've never done anything like this. Obviously, jumped dirt bikes plenty farther than this, and I've actually jumped this bike farther than what we need to go to. But I'm also a realist to everything. I'm not going into this like it's going to be sunshine and rainbows, and Cody and Ted are going to be right there in case I crash. They can just grab me like an angel coming down, I've been really, really real about this. I have a wife up home. Holly's up there right now, and it was really hard emotionally to. I like to shut the switch off when I'm home. Monday through Friday, I'll go down to town and get lunch with her almost every night, or dinner or whatever. And it was funny, like 2 days before we left, we go to Quiznos there because that's pretty much all there is in my town. And the guy that owns it, we go in there so much, we know him really well. And he didn't even know I was doing this until like 2 days before I left. So like I said, I like to go home and shut the switch off. We're at home. I'm just husband and hanging out and whatnot. And so it was hard to have people call me saying, hey, we need to do this promotion for that or this for that. And I was kind of like, no, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Call me when you want me to drive over there, and I'll be there.
Yeah.
But no, and I go back like Cody and Ted, they have such a more important role in this than they could even begin to explain. And a lot of that is just, mentally keeping me aware of the situations and scenarios that are at hand, and that is by saying, hey, Ted's going to be on the mic. Cody has a communication system that'll also be able to link up to us as well. And if Ted's looking at the ramp and Cody's looking at the flags and I'm not paying attention to both of them at the same time, Ted could be freaking out saying, oh my god, here's a side wind. And if I'm not paying attention to him or listening for his voice, Cody could be saying, the ramp's good, like, let's do it. And the second I leave that ramp, riding these bikes, as we all know as cyclists, the second you go in the air and there's a side wind, it's like riding a kite.
Yeah.
It is going to push you and it is going to be bad. So, not only am I installing a lot of faith in Britain for the one task and keeping that in my mind while I'm approaching the ramp, but I also got to be really adamant on listening for Cody's voice or Ted's voice saying, hey, bail, you know, or hey, this went from a tailwind to a headwind right now, bail. And so it's hard mentally to wrap yourself around this, and you know, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm trying not to think about it, but you know, we're all open to the idea that we could see something go really bad.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been my motto since day one. Like, hey, we are preparing to leave that ramp, and it is going to go tragically wrong. So what can we do as the crew and the setup and the sponsors behind the scenes to make sure that doesn't happen, opposed to looking at it as, you know, we're showing up and this is going to be easy peaches and cream. We're going to go to Twin Peaks when we're done and we'll be done with this in 20 minutes, man. 2 years for 20 minutes and we'll go home. Like, no, we're all prepared in this room for what could happen on both sides, and that's keeping us all humble and aware. So it's cool.
That is cool. Is there anything you have to do, like work out or prepare your body for this?
Actually, when I was home, I did a lot of motocross riding, a lot of quad riding. And the reason why that is I wanted to be in the air with, especially the quad, you know, those things weigh so much that you can't, once you're in the air, the pro guys can, you know, whip them and whatnot. But once you're in there, you kind of got to be aware of the lip, right? Because if one side of the quad kicks weird, it's just going to continue to spiral and spiral and spiral until you land. In the dirt bike, you can hit a kicker or whatever and correct it really easy. We don't have this venue in Washington State.
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen. So, you know, I tried to replicate it up there by doing it, you know, we've gone the distance, but it's natural fed hill to like a ski lip to just floating the hill. So the closest thing I could replicate to it was getting myself on a vehicle that doesn't really have a lot of air control like this. So it's the best we could do.
Okay. So is he got communication in the Toyota too? Like if there's a fail?
So it's actually on my dirt bike helmet. I was just driving around with my moto helmet on. But we actually have them in the truck too if you'd like to check them out. But
Yeah, afterwards you can show me.
oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so I want to get to you guys. Maybe pass your mic, or if you want to do that, or however you guys want to do it. So, Ted, you've been building ramps. You know, you said basically your whole life. So how do you justify the lip so he's not hung up in the air, and then how do you justify your landing so it's long and nice going that way?
I was about to say, Cody will know a little bit more about this than me, but whenever the ramp specifications got drawn, it got drawn up, all the proper radiuses and all the construction method got drawn up by like professional engineers that do like motocross ramps and stuff. So it's designed for a 120-foot motocross jump.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then what about the landing? Same?
The landing, I actually have not been on site to see it yet. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. Yeah, basically I've got a pretty good eye for, you know, judging, you know, a distance, just looking at your angle of your takeoff, and then what your descent angle would be. So like I don't want to be nobody wants them to just go shoot up in the air and just, you know, splat down. Everything's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I'll be kind of overwatching.
So you said you move the ramp back and forth. What are you looking for? You don't want to be going too deep. You don't want to be going too shallow. And I guess a part of that's also the speed of what he's going at, right?
Yep. So I'll have a headset with communications. I'll be able to talk to both of them at the same time. And so we're basically going to just start off fairly small. And I think the idea is that maybe start off at probably 50 feet and like judge the speed from there, and just basically just start working our way up in baby steps.
Okay. Where do you guys want I know you don't, I'd say you don't want any wind, but what's like the max wind you guys want? 0.
Yeah, obviously we want 0 wind. Obviously if we have any wind, it needs to be a slight tailwind. And I think like Britton said earlier, the speed that's been factored into this jump is going to be around 35 miles an hour, which, you know, anything less than that won't really be too much of a factor.
Why did you guys decide that speed? Anybody want to speak on that?
So it's around what third gear on a motorbike would be. Cody knows a bit about that and tested it out with the tag, or not tag. We've got a speedometer on the moto and also on Cody's mountain bike. So
Yeah.
we have a little bit of just go back and forth on that.
So basically, if he was going 51 and you guys, that'd be way too fast. He would just overshoot it, too hard on the bike, a bunch of things.
Depends on how good of a scrubber he is.
Yeah, we were out at Gas MX last night racing some motocross, like Cody mentioned, and there's I say it's a 94 foot from the takeoff of the jump to the sweet spot of the lander, and he clocked it at about, I say it was 47 miles per hour.
Like 47.
Yeah, 47 miles per hour is what we hit that jump on, and that's to get 94 feet. So we can kind of do a little bit of rough math, and based off of these guys' expertise and all this, we can kind of go from there on how far he needs to go. Also with the jump, there's a pretty good sized case pad, so he's got quite a bit of room to kind of work up to getting further and further, as opposed to just a sheer drop off.
I got you.
And pushing the ramp back and everything will definitely help as well. So.
How hard is it to push ramp? You guys just hook a vehicle up to it or hand push it?
Yeah, I'd say probably hook up a truck to it. It's probably every bit of 1,000+ pounds, so it's a big old 8 foot tall. I'm not sure how long it is.
I think it's 30 feet long. Yeah.
So it's a big dog. We will pull it with the truck and probably just incrementally stick it back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to say something? We put a cup in front of you. You put a cup in front of you.
Oh.
You're just thirsty?
I was just listening to the ocean, man. Run me home.
Tech Cody. So, I apologize. What is your involvement in leading up to this?
Oh yeah, so I'm similar to what Ted's doing. Make sure the ramp's gonna be okay. Just monitoring that kind of stuff so Cody's safe. Like I said, I have a BMX background. Yeah. I own a stunt team and I travel all over the United States doing stunt shows for a living. Second job, and so I'm used to setting these kind of things up and doing all that. And like I said, I've been riding for 15, 16 years, that kind of stuff. So we've done a lot of this stuff. Motorcycles is also a big background of mine too, as well.
Okay.
I raced when I was younger, and then I still race, but now I use sport bikes now. So we're used to speed and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm just making sure Cody's going to be safe and getting his mind set.
So was this ramp already pre-built, or was it built for this?
Michael Lasada, he's the one that built this ramp.
Okay. So he actually kind of had to tell you, or you basically had to tell him, hey, I'm serious, we have to build a ramp, or how'd that go down?
I don't need this. This is Cody.
Oh, I don't know if you're. I was just kind of waiting for somebody to answer. So, when I came up with the idea and I saw where the record was at 116, I again, not only have I grown up racing motocross, done supercross, outdoor motocross, dabbled in freestyle for a little while, and I've hit ramps. They have a 120-foot regulation freestyle ramp for when they do freestyle shows. Typically, they have a bunch of different varieties: quarter pipes, 75, 120-foot ramps. So I was like, okay, there's 4 people on the planet that have really pursued distance jumping, and that's all in motocross. I mean, they're up to 425 feet or something ridiculous in that. And no.
Yeah.
But you can't just go out and find those ramp specs. I mean, I will say there's a 7-figure tag for a Red Bull team to come in and build you one of those ramps.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. So I don't have that.
Yeah.
So it's okay, well, what can I have? What's available to me? So again, I did a little bit of research and actually found the exact schematics for this ramp to purposely put me 120 feet. Now, that's not saying we can't go 40 on it. It's not saying we can't necessarily go 150 on it, but the ramp is designed to go 120. And as Britton touched on earlier, the reason why we're kind of looking at that 35, 40 mile an hour mark is that ramp is designed to do third gear half throttle for the freestyle guys.
Okay.
So typically, depending on your gearing and what bike you have, that's around 35 to 40 miles an hour. Now, as Christian mentioned last night, we were out racing moto, and we were doing 46 miles an hour to go 94 feet. Lip's a little bit different. The landing or the ramp's a little bit different than the lip last night, and so on and so forth. So, no, this ramp is designed to put us at 120 feet, more if we want to, at a rough speed of 35 to 40 miles an hour. So.
Have you talked to the person who has the record now?
I have, or no, excuse me, not in the cycling world. No, unfortunately, his name's Colin Winkleman, and he set that in 2006. And amongst doing research, roughly talking to Matt Hoffman and Trigger Gum and whatnot, I actually found out he took his own life in 2008.
Oh, damn.
So that was obviously well before I had this idea. But I have been going back and forth with Trigger Gum, who set the world record on the moto side for probably over a year now.
Yeah.
And he's been really, influential to me just mentally to say, hey, this first jump, I remember he specifically said, don't expect anything on your first jump. Literally go take the ramp, put it in the hills, do it. On the second jump, you can name your price. And, I'm kind of taking that from a motocross background with stiffer frames in the motocross world, and I'm like, dude, I can't just do that on a bicycle. I can't just go put a ramp against a hill on a bicycle and just expect that, I'm going to have someone there that is, able to pull me through what could possibly be a rough or a smooth. It just wouldn't be right. So I'm very, very honored and privileged to have this sort of venue on my first go.
Yeah.
Especially with, literally no Guinness World Record long jumping background to my name. I have tons of credentials. I'm qualified, but I'm not, qualified, if you want to put it that way. So, no, it's a godsend to be here and be able to do it with the crew of guys I got.
How was Matt Hoffman?
So that was kind of weird. So he was really, really close to Colin.
Yeah.
Obviously, because that all happened in the era when Hoffman was trying to do his big boost on the quarter pipe.
Yeah.
Which he still holds the record for to this day, and to my knowledge, they probably know better than I do if he still owns it or not. But they were really close. So I had a couple messages direct with him. And I also had some people telling me, hey, he's not super happy with you doing this because he was so close with Colin. He really wanted that sentimental thing to stay with Colin.
Yeah.
And, bittersweet. I'm really a respect-based person, so I get it. But I was also already granted this title, the opportunity to do this from Guinness. That all happened before I knew anything about Colin and what happened there with Matt. So like, I'm not gonna not do it.
Man.
I've already worked. I've already paid all this money to do it, so I'm gonna do it. But, it's crazy, man. It's crazy the road I've been on, the people I've talked to, to get this far.
Who was somebody that you talked to that kind of surprised you, good or bad?
Man, probably Trigger Gum.
Okay.
Probably. I would say probably he's probably the most surprising positively.
Yeah.
Matt maybe the most surprising, and I'm going to say neutral. I'm not going to say negative because it's just so cool to have the opportunity, even if it wasn't conversating, just know that holy shit, those are huge names. And
yeah.
It's I'm just looking at myself like this cup,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I'm talking with people way up here. But probably Trigger, and the reason why that is coming from the motocross background. It was whoa, that guy's going how far and doing what? He's pulling tricks at 350 feet. He's doing Superman seat grabs, going fifth gear wide on a CR 252 stroke, doing Superman, whoa. And I'm from an area where Ryan Capes was also doing distance jumping, and unfortunately he passed away right about the time we got the okay for all of this. Otherwise, I've literally grown up riding with him. Otherwise, he would probably be in this room with us right now. But yeah, probably Trigger as far as the kind of starstruck type deal.
Yeah.
But I tell all these guys, it doesn't matter if it's the Waltons or it's a homeless guy. Everyone's on the same level of respect to me. It doesn't matter if you've, backflipped a bicycle or, you've triple backflipped a dirt bike. It's just 4-year-old kids to a 100-year-old adult, man. I treat everyone the same, but I'm not definitely saying I don't get starstruck.
You were telling me yesterday, speaking of, you were talking about Guinness, how I guess most people don't think of, you got to kind of pay a fee. There's tier fees to where you want to be, and then for them to even come out. So they technically won't be here, but you'll have you got Christian here to record it all.
Yeah, so there's 3 tiers on how Guinness works, and I won't name a specific price. I don't want to deter anyone from trying to do this later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the way we're doing it, it's the lowest tier. It's the cheapest buy-in, and the reason why that is I straight up could not afford the second and first tier. But the way we're doing this is, Guinness will not be on site, and I've had 1,000 people ask me, why. And it's like, well, I don't have the money for the top tier, but doesn't mean we're not qualified for it. We've got all the credentials, we've got all the paperwork, everything's already signed. So the way it'll work is this: let's say on the 12th or whatever, we land the jump, we stick it, we're happy with that. We passed the record. Everyone in the room's happy with where we're at. Everything went well. We hang out here for the rest of the trip. I drive home on the 19th. Christian puts a 3-4 minute video together, and I send it to Guinness. They approve it. They email me saying it's okay. 2 weeks later, I get the letter in the mail.
Did you get that plaque?
Yep. It would be as if there was a official there on site. It's just, instead of him handing it to me on person, I get it in the mail. But I literally made a post today. I was like, this whole thing is not for me. Like,
yeah.
I'm doing this all. If I can pay my gas home and buy Holly a nice steak dinner when I get back, like, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's more to inspire a next generation of kids. Like Kody has a 6-year-old son, and it's more to inspire him to grow up and do something unique. There's 500,000 kids out there right now trying to find 2 spots on a race team in a World Cup circuit, and that's just in the U.S. That's not the 5 million other kids around the world. But all of a sudden you're like, hey, maybe I can do a one-of-one thing, and it takes determination and not getting deterred from it. But like me, 2 years later, like even once I get the record, there's still, it's just 2 of us. There's the one guy that did it before me and me. And even if another kid does it 2 years or 10 years or 20 years from now, then there's only 3. And you're talking about, 7 billion people on this world or something?
Yeah.
And there's 3 people, and that's after I do it, So that's what I'm going for. It's to inspire a next generation of athlete to not sit in a sheep form, go out and be your own lone wolf and see where it takes you.
It kind of surprised me now that you kind of mentioned all that Moto, they keep wanting to try to break the record, right? Next guy wants to break the old guy. Not, but mountain biking, it seems like it's kind of like not really been something talked about. Do you think there's a reason why of that? No,
and I don't think there's a reason at all. I just think it's exactly what I'm talking about. You have all the publicity in racing, and you have all the publicity in those crazy things that the Fest Series guys are doing.
Yeah.
And much like Moto, all of the popular guys are all doing the same thing. Cam Zink's got the record. Literally what we're doing here, Cam Zink has the record for the natural flow in, which Guinness considers 2 different records.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, so we're doing the longest ramp to dirt bicycle jump, and then there's 2 sub-genres of that, and that's toe in and natural fit. Cam's got the natural fit. And the ironic part about that is Cam Zink is who he is in the cycling world. And Brandon Semenuk's been top tier for the last 10 years. Semenuk's been top tier for the last 10 years. And it goes down the line from there. Carson Swords, top tier the last 10 years. Brett Reeder, top tier the last 10 years. That's all any of these massive sites talk about, because just like Kody, literally Kody's in the same boat I am. It's like, how do I maximize my potential and still get noticed when I'm more than qualified to be at that level, but for whatever reason, the top guys, like he won best trick last year and beat Carson Storage, and was it Dylan Stark? And it's like, but they, for whatever reason, still got the most publicity from it.
Yeah.
It's like, we're just trying to do one-of-one things to.
That's wild.
And it's not to be the next somebody. It's just to be the best. Literally, everyone in this room is just to be the best that we are right now.
Yeah.
And hey, at the end of the day, like I said, I don't think any of us are going to walk out of this jump being millionaires. If it is, it'd probably be them and not me.
Yeah. Kind of like a side note, like I do this podcast. I don't get any money towards it. I just try to do the best I can, doing it, talking to you guys, and
right.
maybe hopefully something eventually gets sponsored, whatever. I'm when that comes. But just try to be the best I can at it, and I don't know, always working on that.
It's the same thing, you know, and if a kid can see this and take this into a sport, great. But the massive life lesson behind this is, you know, it's literally the same thing behind closed doors. You know, how are you going to stand out in a sea of 100,000 people going for one job?
Yeah.
You know, and that might be working at Safeway. It might be working for the Waldens, and literally any job in between. You know, and hey, find your one of one thing. It literally trickles down from sports all the way into real life, and that's what I think is really cool about it. I'm really, you know, in tune with emotional state, mental state, and how I can, you know, learn life lessons from everything I do. And inspire people in that way. So, yeah.
So with your the gear you're wearing, basically full body gear, or anything in particular that like you want to talk about on that?
Yeah. So I mean, if we're going down the line, like we've been talking about, Cena Communications has kicked in all of the audio for this. I think everyone in this room, maybe except for Christian, will have, you know, we can all literally talk to each other and it won't cut out and do one person at a time. So if, you know, I'm talking and all of a sudden Cody starts screaming.
Oh, you guys don't use the cut method?
Oh, that's all we have is cups with strings on it.
Yeah. Yeah, we should probably get rid of those audio systems, man. Just cups with strings.
Cups with strings, they'll work perfect.
Yeah, man, let's just get Dixie Cup as a sponsor
Yeah.
for the communication.
We could probably buy those at Walmart.
Yeah, we could have saved some money.
Do you think they got a Walmart around here? We go get some at?
Bentonville, no way.
But man, this was going so positive, and it just got weird, you know. But no, so yeah, going down the line, Cena Communications has kicked in all the audio to keep us safe and keep us on board. I'm going to be wearing a Cali helmet. I won't wear anything that isn't DOT approved. I won't wear a cycling helmet, rather I'm back home or not. You know, the motocross helmets and the DOT approved helmets are just designed to take more impact. Wearing my Atlas brace that I've had forever for this to keep my neck and my upper body safe. If something does happen, it's going to transfer the weight to my shoulder blades and not my neck or my collarbones. I've got a chest pad that I'm going to wear underneath my jersey. Again, it's a soft one, but the reason why I'm not wearing a hard one is I just don't need it. The soft one's going to be plenty enough for that. It's got a back pad on it. It's got a front pad on it. Fits good, feels good. IXS knee pads, like you can, just the daggers, you can buy those anywhere. Me wearing motocross gear, just long pants, long jersey, just because that's what we use up home.
Yeah.
I do have Etnies shoes on board as a sponsor for this, which when
Nice.
I got that box of Etnies, I literally cried at my table. Like, it was just so cool, a brand that I've known forever, and now they're working with me on this one of one thing. Like, I straight up cried at my table.
So, side note, Etnies used to make the best sandals, and I would get them every year, and now I can't find them. I've just moved on, and so bummed about it. Those are my favorite.
Yeah. No, and we did just picked up just a couple of days. We got Lives In on board as a sponsor, so I'll wear those too, of course. But yeah, no, I mean, we've been testing at home in my dirt bike boots. You know, just to say, hey, you know, if the Etnies aren't giving enough ankle support, you know, and we need to go farther, like, we are able to do this in dirt bike boots. And you know, like I said a couple days ago, we got Lives In on board. They're super excited about this. The Hellion crew is super excited about this. There's a ton of companies in Bentonville that have been above and beyond on this project, which you wouldn't find in Seattle. People want one-off stuff here. People want unique, but people want safe. And I want safe, and I want all those things too. So it'll be cool to work with Lives In. It'll be cool to work with Hellion. It'll be cool to work with all these companies in the area to make this goal a reality.
So, was there a date before what you're about to do? Like, is this postponed, or was it always set for like right around now?
No, it was kind of always set to be like, hey, we should do it right before Bike Fest because the industry is going to be in town anyways. So, you know, why not kind of do it right before? Obviously, we're not able to do it at the Bike Fest venue.
Yeah.
Way too small, way too in public. I mean, we were out there today, like all of us were, and the second someone sees a bicycle up there, it's like the world stopped moving. And 2 days ago, we were out there.
We were having people like stop traffic trying to watch us drop in this big roll in, and like he had his dirt bike up there dropping in, and there's people honking, like rubbernecking, hanging out the window, just holding up. Like the light was green, and there was a whole line of cars. Just everyone, nobody cared. We were just watching.
Yeah. So for people wondering where Bike Fest is, it's on the corner of 8th and J Street. I'm pretty sure, not where you're gonna do the jump, but there's also big jumps out there for the Bike Fest, and you were just out there kind of just messing around, or is there something involved with that too?
Well, as far as today or a couple days ago?
Whatever you guys are doing out there at those jumps at the 8th Street.
So basically, like the reason we were out there is because I'm kind of like the crash test dummy
Okay.
for the jumps. Like obviously.
Save the white pants, though. Don't wear the white pants.
I know it.
White and blue.
So yeah, we were out there 2 days ago, just testing the drop, making sure all the angles of that worked out, and it worked out fine. The actual takeoff jump after, like the first legit kicker jump, it wasn't placed yet, so we couldn't even attempt that. And then I guess just it was before I had actually got there. Kody had been talking to the builder, Chris Conrad. Said, "Hey, what do you think about getting my dirt bike up there and trying to drop that?" And he was just cool with it, so that's what we did.
Yeah, that's pretty cool about Bentonville. It doesn't seem like they're not like, no, they're like, yeah, let's try it, see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you are right at an intersection, and
major thoroughfare. So we had lots of people almost causing wrecks, stopping and trying to look at us.
Yeah, could you imagine, like, that's that, and then come Bike Fest here in 2 weeks. Well, maybe less than that, but I mean that's gonna be they should just block that road off right there. Someone's gonna get in an accident.
Yeah, it was funny, man. Like so yesterday we were out there, 2 days ago now. So I go out there. I was going to pick up the 450 from Michael's house. I was like, I'll go by 8th Street in Northern. Ended up just bubbly guy walking in. Don't know any of them. Walking in like I've known him for 20 years, and I go up to Chris, introduce myself, and we start kind of BSing there on site. And I was like, hey, I got my 450 in the back because again I'm coming from Michael's house to the bike in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, you tell me when you're ready, and you boom me up there on the 450, and let's do it. And he laughs. And, I'm literally backing up, and I put my truck in park, and I walk back up to him. I'm like, I'm kind of thinking about it. You call me when you're ready. And he's like, you're serious, huh? I said, yeah. And he goes, man, he said this specifically out of his mouth. He goes, I build the jumps. I'm not a contractor, but I did build that drop in. So I'm like, oh, okay. So he's like, well, if it works for you and your dirt bike, it'll work for all of these guys. So as Ted mentioned kind of a second ago, being a crash test dummy off the first jump, he's like, make a phone call to this person. If they're cool with it, we're good with it. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. So it was like 6:30 last night, or a couple nights ago, we were literally sitting there and pulled in on my 450. I was like, hey, that guy gave the green light, let's do it. And sure enough, up it goes. Like all the pictures are on my Instagram, and I think everyone in this room has shared it because it's just such, again, a crazy cool opportunity that I woke up that morning and was not expecting to do. And better yet, calling the guy and seeing the green light, I was instantly expecting a no. And he was like, yeah, man, I don't care, go ahead. Like, yes, Bentonville's awesome.
Yeah. So do you want to watch this? Will it be on like a YouTube channel, or how's that gonna go?
No. Well, I mean, eventually.
Yeah, eventually, I should say.
Yeah, no live audience, no live cameras. The only people that are allowed on site are companies that have, and I do the quote invested into this because I don't like to say the word sponsorship. Companies that have invested into this to help me get it done and help pay the invoice. Otherwise, the only people that'll be on site, and especially the only people that have any say on what's going on site, are the 5 people you're looking at in this room. And literally, if Kody, if Ted, if one of the people in this circle says no, we stop. And we address the issue, and then we continue. And even more so if it's 2 of them or 3 of them. Because if one person's saying, hey, this isn't right, it's my life on the line. So, no, there'll be a couple extra people there than us 5, but ultimately, the important part is down to us 5 in this room right here.
I don't want to say that, but if something terrible happens, are you gonna, Christian, do you think you'll still record or just kind of cut it?
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and keep all the footage, and if the worst case does happen, as far as I'm concerned, nothing's gonna be released. It's gonna be like we weren't even here.
Okay.
Like nothing happened. Content wouldn't be shared to anybody because that's also we don't want anybody out there.
Yeah.
God forbid anything does happen, we don't want some kid to see something happen or somebody with their cell phone and putting out a bad image for Kody. So it's better just to keep it in this little group.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
So yeah.
So before you came in, how long you been in town? A couple weeks?
When did I get here? Honestly, I left. What's today?
You got to Eureka Springs last weekend and watched me do the enduro.
Oh, yeah.
What day is it today?
Today's Sunday. I don't know the
Today's
date.
Sunday.
Sunday
So
the 5th.
I arrived in my truck a week ago yesterday, and I left the Thursday before that about noon, and got here at 2:30 that Saturday. And I forget. I was talking to somebody yesterday. Oh, it was Justice Barry.
Oh, okay.
I was talking to him yesterday or a couple days ago, and he's like, "Man, I'm sorry I didn't come up and say hi to you that Saturday." And I was like, "Dude, I hardly even remember being there that Saturday. I was just road deprived."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Dude, don't worry, because I probably wouldn't even remembered."
Yeah. I just got back from Tennessee, and that was 11 and a half. I couldn't imagine your drive.
Yeah, this was on the GPS. It showed 29 hours, and it took me. I mean, like I said, what's the quick math on that? I think I slept for like 6 hours amongst that whole drive. Otherwise, if I was stopping, it was at a gas station just to rim up diesel and keep going. I think it took all of, with the 6 hour break, it took like damn near 50 hours.
So, yeah, what I was going to say is before leading up to this, are you staying in contact with these guys? Are you guys having like Zoom meetings or whatever to like, hey, let's go over some things?
Are you talking sponsors or are you talking crew?
The crew.
Oh, no, I hate all these guys. No, I've been in contact with all these guys. Last year, they were super accommodating to be here. I mean, I know how it is in the South and the East and whatnot. Everything's East from where I'm at. But, you know, in the deep South in Arkansas, you know, I know how it is. Sometimes people don't like people from that side of the coast. Other times, you know, they're super close. So, no, I met all these guys last year. We've kept in contact over Instagram and whatnot, Facebook and everything. So when it was coming here, it was almost like I was never gone. You know, so that was really cool. And when Michael told me, Michael's the one that set up this whole group. So when Michael told me, you know, hey, you know, Britton's doing this, Cody's doing this, Ted's doing this, Christian's doing this, I was like, fuck yeah. Like,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Perfect. Couldn't have been a better crew. You know, nobody that's in this room right now, with the exception of you, isn't someone that I've met before. And better yet, you know, I like all these guys last year were like brothers, so it was perfect.
Speaking of that, like, you reached out to me, and that was a surreal moment because no one really reaches out to me. I'm still just a little peon with a little recording device, and you reached out to me. You're like, hey, I'm Cody. I'm doing this. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, let's do this. But so thank you for reaching out to me. So what I was gonna say, dang it, I lost my train of thought.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah. Man, what was I gonna say? I don't freaking know. But
I do want to touch on a subject
Okay, go ahead.
that I think you'll like.
Yeah.
Cody, do you want to take this one over or no? About the tattoos?
I'm scared of needles.
Okay, so
This is a good part. You want to take it over?
I'll let Cody go for it.
Yes, and I'll talk about it. All right, so like I said, we've been talking to Cody pretty much every day for the past year, like in some form. Like we have a group Instagram or a group chat on Facebook and whatnot. And so Cody, he has all these fears that he's trying to like, I don't know, overcome while he's here in Bentonville.
Oh, okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah. So it's just a lot of us are going to be bonding and get really close with Cody, closer than he's ever been. And so
Whoa.
They're all sharing this king size.
So close you can taste it.
Yeah. Whoa.
yeah, it was, you know, it is what it is. But Cody, he's a lot of fears, and he's getting a tattoo to like after this, like to remember, like I don't know, to
Commemorative.
Commemorative of this event, and like, so he's really scared of snakes. Like he's deathly afraid
Oh,
of
I
snakes.
thought it was gonna be you're scared of tattoos.
No,
I don't have any.
I don't. Yeah, I don't have any. I'm not gonna get one. But
Yeah, you are.
anyway, so he's scared. He's scared of snakes, and I have the largest venomous snake collection in Arkansas. So I have like 4 king cobras, 2 black mambas.
Is that legal?
Yeah, 100% legal.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
Yeah. So I have like the most deadliest snakes like in the world in my house. Like 60 of them, I believe, and a few crocodilians.
What? I want to see this sometime.
Yeah, like I have a ton. Anyway, so Cody, he's scared of snakes, so we're gonna get him to hold his first venomous snake soon.
Dude, my hands are sweating right now.
Yeah, well, It is what it is.
Are they still venom in
Oh,
them?
if you get bit, you will die, 100%.
Holy
So
cow.
he has a few things he has to face, not just including this jump, but yeah, it's
Just don't think about the snakes while you're jumping, please.
Yeah.
Literally every time I've seen Cody on this trip, like even just today, sitting right here, I walk in and he goes, "You ready for the snake?" And he points right there. And clearly I'm looking at a trash can, but I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm just staring at it, and he's like, "Oh, no worry, it's fine, it's not here." And he did the exact same thing last time I saw him on this trip, like just a couple days ago. "Oh, no worry, it's fine, it's not here yet."
Do you have one of your do you know already which snake you're gonna let him handle?
I mean, I have a few in mind that he would. I mean, they're all they're not good. It definitely. So I have a big 13-foot king cobra that's in shed right now, and when he finished shedding here next couple days or whatever, Cody's gonna get real familiar with him, real familiar. I have tons of rattlesnakes, caboon vipers, that kind of stuff.
Dang. I
So-
kind of want to see this sometime too. I have to get in contact. I just want to see all that. So, wow. Is there anything what was some of the biggest, when Cody comes back to it, like the biggest discussion you guys had about no, we need to, let's think about this before we go to it. What's some of the biggest challenges you guys have faced leading up to this?
Honestly, it's just timing.
Wait, I'm sorry. So, you're going to get a tattoo of a snake? Wait.
So
Oh yeah, that was just.
so that's just a part of it. So basically, lost a lot of Michael. He's like, "Hey, you know what would be cool while we're here, man? You should get it." Sorry, we've been talking in like a boomhounder accent, man. It just comes out real quick. He's like, "You know what would be cool while you're here to commemorate this massive achievement would be to get a tattoo." And I don't have any. I'm not opposed to getting them. Just kind of growing up racing full time, it's like, if you really wanted to be taken professionally, you kind of got to be like a businessman all the time. And he's like, "So I'm going to design the tattoo. You get to pick where you want it." And I was like, "Cool." Well, he goes, "How about this? Amongst snakes, which is absolutely number one, as far as my fear goes, I'm also afraid of not knowing what's underneath me in water. Pools are great, because I can see the bottom of a pool. But if I'm jumping into a lake or a river or whatever, and something touches my foot, it's like the reincarnation of Jesus walking across the water. I am out of there."
Wow.
And I don't know why. Literally, of no reason. It's not like anything's ever happened to me, and never, almost drowned or anything like that.
So I was kind of there. I went scuba diving in Hawaii, and it's like going to the abyss. The whole time I thought a shark was just going to come at me.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like it's stuff like that. So amongst this kind of, Michael's saying it won't be any bigger than the bottom of this cup, pretty small, but amongst that it'll have a part with the snake in the middle, and it'll have water in the background to kind of simulate the water, and there's some other things he's kind of throwing into this too. But yeah, it's kind of, again, to face my fears before we face the fear type deal. So I'm definitely most on edge when Cody's around. Because I've been told, expect it, but you don't know when. Yeah. So that is alarming. I love that Cody's around right now, but I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and it could be tomorrow, or it could be the next day, or it could be tonight. I don't know.
Could be right now.
Could be under the bed, man. I heard a video of one of his snakes breathing the other day. It sounds like a damn dragon.
Really?
I flinched at the video on his cell phone.
Dang.
Yeah. The fear's not good. I don't even like worms. And he's like, "Oh yeah, man, you will die if this thing bites you. But it's cool. But it'll kill you. But it's fine. But you'll die. But you'll be fine."
Can
Maybe.
you imagine you just did a world record mountain bike and then you hold a snake and then it bites you?
So when I was little, this is how bad my fear is. When I was little, this might have been where it stemmed from. I was scared of snakes then, but obviously all my friends weren't. And up there, we don't have any sort of poisonous snakes. At least in that side of the state, there's rattlesnakes in eastern Washington. But a buddy of mine picked up a gardener snake, and I'm running, just screaming my head off, and he threw it at me, and literally like a fainting goat, just straight in my head.
Wow.
I fainted.
So,
29 now, and I got to deal with this crap.
So we were riding in Tennessee last week, and I just rode by it. My buddy's like, snake. And it was a real long, I think it was like a rat snake or black snake. My buddy, it was chill, but he was like paranoid because his wife was coming on her e-bike. So he's like, get out of here, snake. We spent a lot of money to come here now. You got to move. And I was just like, I think you could just ride right by it. It wasn't like in a defense mode. It was just like chilling. He's like, nah. It would worry me. I was like, why don't you just let her go by you, and then you just go by. No, he had to like hang it up, put it in the tree.
Yeah, I want to go enduroing here. I really do.
I've never seen a snake here.
Oh man, I saw pictures.
Yeah,
And that
don't
did
look
it
at
justice.
those.
You want to know where there isn't a snake? Assumingly, in this room right now. Maybe. but no, man.
He's also so scared of the snakes, and we also have Beaver Lake. We could just go drop him off in the middle of the lake.
Yeah.
And I would be a little more afraid of that, since he's afraid of what's underneath him.
Yeah,
so,
but like
so you don't go out to like tubing and lakes or any of that?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. Not at all. Not at all. Because
Wow.
yeah. Pools.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Kiddie pool, backyard, put my feet in it. All right.
What about diving board where you're like jumping off into a pool?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's nothing to do with the height.
You can see.
I can see the bottom.
Ah.
And I know that there isn't a giant water snake slithering at me, ready to just boom, straight to the neck, done. We'll save that for Cody's house.
All right. So back to what are some of the biggest challenges, like bike stuff, or you guys have kind of gone through?
You guys want to touch on this? You've been here. I've been up north. You guys want to take any of this over?
I can't think of anything that I haven't said already, honestly.
I think for me the biggest challenge was just it's like, how do we orchestrate this whole thing? You're trying to be the husband up home, trying not to overly publicize it up home. I hate when my friends up there ask me, what's your payday, man? When's it happening? How can we watch it? Because this is so far above the level that you would see up home.
Yeah.
That I think was the hardest part for me mentally. I think the hardest challenge in general just around the jump was like, where are we going to do it? We looked at Thaden Field. We looked at a couple other places around Bentonville. We knew we wanted to do it in Bentonville, but where? Other than that, it was like, okay, well, what sponsors? All right, let's start reaching out. Well, I'm not here. So that was hard for Michael. But no, he's been, like I said, it literally got to the point where I was like, Michael, just call me. Call me 2 weeks before so I can go. And he did I know the guys in here helped a lot too. But they did all the work. I'm just here kind of on vacation, getting to kind of live my dream that they're helping me achieve, and it's super, super grateful just to have them all again. I don't think I could say it enough.
Cool, man. I wish I could be there. I understand it's all how you got going things on. How many people do you think will be there?
Michael, some road trails. So it'll probably be us in the room. I'm Michael from Hellion Bikes. I'm assuming some guys from Rogue Trails that are out there doing the dirt work right now for the landing.
Hurricane.
Yep.
His son's name is Hurricane. He'll be there, the 6-year-old, and that's not a nickname; it's his actual name.
Yeah. That's right.
I think we're gonna have one of the ways that we're gonna measure this is with the actual like geolocating drone. Is that still in the plans too?
I believe that's in the plans. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna be the main measurement that's gonna be sent in to Guinness. So we'll have a certain stakes set in the ground or whatever. It's going to be another part of Cody and I's job, to where once the record distance is set up for the ramp, we'll get a geolocating drone from an engineering firm to actually, all right, this is where he took off and this is where he landed.
Back tire.
And yep. And so that's officially a record from a certified engineering drone pilot. So I think that'll be there. That might be 2 or 3 guys. I'm not sure what their setup's like. I honestly can't even remember the guy's name who's doing it.
I would think Farmer's doing it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I would say, so yeah, amongst maybe the 10 people that are, and that's a top number, that are actually involved with that. That's between the drone pilot, the guys in the crew, Michael, Cody, Hurricane, whatever. Probably 10 people as far as like, all right, hands-on. We are opening it up to companies that come on board to help with this because, in our insurance, we said no live audience. I've been adamant about that. I don't need Hurricane to see something go wrong and just like, what's going on this weekend? Oh, let's go take the family to this Guinness guy out there at the fairgrounds, So, if there's a company that comes in and wants to help us pay the invoice for all of this, then they're allowed to come in and bring their staff, but not like, hey, dad paid into this, so we'll take the whole family. It's like, no, if you aren't working for that company, you are not allowed to be there. And that's because that company is an investor, again, to help us get this whole thing done. So it's just, that's the least we can do is give them the green light to come out. And it might not happen on one day. We have a window from the 7th to the 13th out at the Benton County Fairgrounds. It might take until the 13th. There might be a weather hold for 3 or 4 days. So, or it could happen on the first day. So I'm already in contact with all of them, all of the sponsors that we already have, all the people that we already have on board for this are all under the impersonation that you guys want to come out every day, that's cool. If you want to come out for 5 minutes one day, that's fine. I'm going to text all of them the night before. We're thinking, hey, we're at 90 feet now. We're probably going to beat it tomorrow type deal. So they know, but like I said, it could be on the 13th. It could be on the 8th. It could be on the 7th. We're just kind of see how far we get safely and how fast that goes.
All right. So how can people donate or contribute to your thing?
The easiest way to do that would just be to get a hold of me on Instagram.
Okay.
My Instagram handle is at Cody665. Michael Lasalata and I are in control of that. Between him and I, we're reaching out to all these, investors after the jump's done to get all the funds so that we can pay this bill. We're not asking for any money up front other than just a guaranteed pledge so that when it is done, you can pay us then. That way, like Christian touched on earlier, if there is something that happens, we're not already holding your money. Or if, not even that side of the token, but it's like, or if we just decide it is just not going to happen and we can't get to the record, we're not sitting on all their money. No one's paid us. Now, at the second we're over the record, now we're doing that. So, no, it's just to get a hold of me on my Instagram or Michael at his email, and that's Michael Lasalata at helionbikes.com. It's a bit of a weird name to pronounce, but the easiest way to get his email would just be going to the Hellion Bikes website and going to contact us. His email is right there. And yeah, between the two of us, that's how we're doing this. It's not like go on my, GoFundMe, and whatever. We're doing it right. We're not just going up to every, person we see walking down the street and saying, hey, for $50 you can buy in. That is the cheapest. That's literally the cheapest buy-in. It's $50. It's not like we're asking, hey, the cheapest thing's $50,000. It's like, no, it's $50. If you want to get your company involved, it's $50, and it goes up from there to a certain number. But it starts at 50 and escalates through. So
cool. All right, so go around the room. If you guys want to share your Instagram or how people can get a hold of you. If we'll start with Cody the athlete. We'll go this way.
Okay. Mine is Britton Geary 56. That's
Okay.
my Instagram. It's BrittenGeary.
All right. And Christian, yours is a super long last name.
Yeah, so I get that everywhere I go. My Instagram is Christian_DePietrantonio. That's DIPIETRANTONIO. And I also have a YouTube channel as well, Christian DePietrantonio. So
Cool.
All right, mine is infinitely more simple. Mine is just Ted_Danger. That's a nickname I got from a friend who passed away years ago. I'm a crash test dummy, so it's fitting anyway. So
There you
that's
go.
what it is.
You ever thought about being a stuntman?
I have. That would be real awesome. But just riding BMX for so many years, I'm already so broken. I don't think I could actually handle it.
So a funny story. A friend of mine back home her brother wanted to be a stuntman. True, like he was like getting ready to go to LA like within 2 weeks, and my buddy was having a house party, 2-story. He told one guy, 2 things happened the same night. One, he told one guy, he's like, I just want you to punch me as hard as you can. He's like, what? And he's like, just punch me, because he just wants to learn to, I guess, take hits, whatever. And he's like, okay. Literally, like, didn't knock him out, like, rolled him, like, hit him and rolled him. Second thing, he went to the top of the stairs, and he told somebody, he's like, hey, push me back off the stairs. So he rolls, yeah, I swear.
That sounds straight out of the movie Hot Rod that we all thoroughly enjoy.
Or Happy Gilmore.
And he's not even a stuntman. It never like ever went through it. All right, next.
My Instagram is Mullet Snacks, MULLETSNAX.
Mullet snacks. I like
Yeah,
it.
I used to have a mullet, and my last name is Mullenax, so it was.
Man, that's
fitting.
sweet.
It was
That's
super
cool.
dope.
Yeah, that is cool. All right, man. I appreciate all you guys for coming on. I really do, and telling everybody that's involved. It's pretty cool to hear your story, what you guys got going on, and we look forward to it. And yeah, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I just want to say again, thanks to Michael Lasalata, the Hellion crew. Thanks to Rogue Trails, Lives In, most recent local company in the area to come on board with this, and the whole crew. You know, Britton, Cody, Ted, Christian. This thing's a lot more mental than it is physical, because I've been jumping this distance since I was like 13 on the dirt bikes, and I can't, like I said, I can't say it again 100 times, man. They're truly like lifelong brothers after this, and especially as close as we get in this little room on this tiny little podcast, man. We're gonna be really, really close after this, man. So no, it's cool. I'm thankful for everybody, all the sponsors back home, my wife, you know, for letting me do this. Excited to get home and see her. So
Cool. All right, man. Well, thank you guys, and thanks everybody for listening. I appreciate it.